Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Little intermission video while I'm doing this. I got the news in the first period, as I'm sure many Dolph fans did on your Twitter timeline. Ian Rapoport was the first person I saw with news, but this is pretty awesome news. Calais Campbell is joining the Miami Dolphins. Longtime defensive end, monster dude. Hurricane coming home to add to the defensive line, a proven commodity to put on that defensive line with Sealer it on up. Look, Zach Sealer, you got a new best friend, all right? He's a wonderful giant, amazing voice, and a terror. I don't care that he's going to be 38. This dude, first of all, he's a moose. Bigger than like anybody on the field. Maybe Patrick Paul can stand with him as far as height is concerned. But the dude has been an absolute terror his entire career. He's just a tremendous winning player, a leader. Last year on the Falcons, even at his age, was one of their more effective pass rushers. 6.5 sacks last year, even at his age. He just finds a way to just be an absolute menace. Was the anchor, and I thought really got snubbed for Defensive Player of the Year in my Jags era when they went to the AFC Championship against the New England Patriots. This guy by far and away was my favorite player was Calais Campbell. Second favorite player was Jalen Ramsey. Now they're both on the Dolphins. This was your fault, Tom Coughlin, not mine. You wanted to pay Blake Bortles. So he was so damn good that year. And it's hard to believe that he was 31 back then when he was being that effective, but has played with Anthony Weaver, has been coached by Anthony Weaver. So reunited there. It's impossible for me not to like this move from the Miami Dolphins. Shout out to Omar Kelly. He's been pretty much on this with the Calais Campbell news. My pregame co-host from last year. He had been on this. I don't know if Omar had insight or if he had intel on it, but as far as the idea was concerned, I'm sure they did. But as far as intel is concerned and thoughts, he's been on this Calais Campbell thing from the jump. So shout out to Omar. He killed it on this one. And I love this. I love this friggin' move. One of my favorite players in the league, not only from the way he produces, what a leader he is, what it's going to add to that defense, a guy who knows the defense. He gets to come home. It's just goosies on top of goosies on top of goosies on top of yet more goosies to add. And you heard already with Anthony Weaver, with him adding to the tsunami defense. Well, in a tsunami, you need giants to make giant waves, and that's what Calais Campbell is going to bring. So very exciting day for the defense, which, by the way, also big news today. The Miami Dolphins had finished signing off their draft class. Chop Robinson has signed his contract with the Miami Dolphins, so the Dolphins will not have to worry about any holdout. That Chop Robinson has officially signed on, and look, it's going to be important because you have no idea what the Dolphins are going to be able to get from their defensive pass rushers in the early going of this season. So he gets a deal, a 4-year deal, just under $15 million, about 7.7 in signing bonus. You, of course, get a 5th-year option. So Chop Robinson, which, by the way, very cool name. I'm going to love. Now you're going to have some cool-ass celebrations in here because Calais Campbell, he's got the Louisville Slugger. Koosh. So you have Calais Campbell doing that. You have, we're going to miss out on not having Power Rangers with Christian Wilkins, undoubtedly. But you have now the Louisville Slugger, Koosh, slugging it from Calais Campbell as his celebration. You're going to have Chop Robinson. We could sell some, maybe it's dangerous to sell foam axes, but maybe if you make them aqua and orange, you're going to have the Chop celebration. We have my own Sealer it on up. The celebrations are going all over the place for this Miami Dolphins team as it's all coming together. It's good to see these pieces come together. This is a guy where it's like, hey, some of the other guys who they have signed at this defensive line, you're like, yeah, you could see, all right, they'll get a little bit more out of these guys. Maybe they see potential. They can see somebody tried and true. And the only thing that you could really be concerned about is age, but you've already heard they're going to do a lot of rotations. They're going to do things to keep this guy fresh. He honestly seems impenetrable as a player anyway. I mean, Calais Campbell, I mean, look at this. He's since 2015, 16, 16, 16, 16, 12, 15, 14, 17. I mean, a very durable player, even with being the age that he's at. Really cool. Last year, 17 games, 6.5 sacks, forced fumble. Moose can get some paws up there for pass deflections. 17 QB hits last year. Had a safety last year. I am tickled pink by adding Calais Campbell to the bob and weave defense, and he gets to leave those dirty cheats in Atlanta. Which, by the way, as an aside, I've seen some justifications going around here of people who are like, well, the Dolphins did deserve to get punished more than the Atlanta Falcons did. I find this ridiculous. How do the Falcons, still end up with just getting a slap on the wrist, a 5th round pick? They successfully tampered, and the Dolphins failed tampering. I've never heard of attempting a crime getting more of a punishment than actually doing the crime. This is crazy to me. And, people have gone with the theory that the Dolphins really got punished because Brian Flores blowing the whistle, Brian Flores on tanking, wouldn't willingly tank, and that was a big part of the punishment. Bull hunky, okay? I don't want to hear nothing about teams tanking and the Dolphins getting punished for it. Everybody knows that around the league, people tank. It's so blatantly obvious. The Miami Dolphins had 2 weeks that were historically bad. And not only that, the thing that gets missed over all of it is they didn't even do it successfully. They didn't end up with the number 1 overall pick. Joe Burrow, last time I checked, plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had the worst record. I'm still trying to figure this out, how the Miami Dolphins are getting punished more so than everybody else for the same crimes. Makes no sense to me at all. And not only that, I'm not the biggest Florio fan in the world, but he makes the point. They tampered with 3 different players. The Miami Dolphins tampered with the same quarterback twice. I guess if you want to throw the Sean Payton thing in there too, yeah, that's definitely not a great look for the Miami Dolphins to be inquiring. But I honestly didn't even know that was first of all, Sean Payton wasn't coaching, so I don't even understand why this is a bigger deal. The Brady thing being under contract, okay, but Sean Payton was like out there for the taking for anybody. So yeah, it's not a great look to want to go replace your coach, but let's act like that's not something that happens. It's just strange. I looked at this entire ordeal that went down when they handed down that punishment, and I was like, wait a minute. So they actively tampered. They got the guy they wanted to tamper for. They get a late pick, essentially, for, I guess, jumping the gun. The Dolphins tried to set up a couple of happy hours with Tom Brady, which Brian Flores claims he wasn't in on and didn't want to take part in. But somehow that ends up with the Dolphins getting fined $1.5 million and two high draft picks, a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. This Calais Campbell thing does make me feel better, though. It does ease the pain a little bit of where things are at. But I would like to ask Calais off the bat, like, did you know that you were in a dirty cheat organization last year, and are you surprised that they didn't get the near punishment that the Dolphins did? Which I'd be fine. Look, if they give the Dolphins can they give them like a supplemental first? Can they just make good on it? It just was too harsh of a punishment. It's crazy. Like, they banned Stephen Ross for games. They brand that kooky Bruce Beal, who's not even going to be the owner anymore. And now you're like, tampering. Not the NFL's like, tampering. Not that big a deal. Just weird when they pick and choose. And they do this all the time with punishments, with suspensions on people, where it's like, this guy got this guy got this. And you'll have no rhyme or reason for the precedent of it. But I was genuinely like, I thought like 3rd-round pick, 2nd, make it like, okay, make it seem like you actually care about it. 5th-round pick. Are you effing kidding me? That's what they went with that? Strange, dude. I don't understand. But hey, I'm good now, baby. Calais Campbell is a Miami Dolphin.